Hi, this is Ashley from ashleykay.com, where I reveal the raw naked truth on relationship success. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 11 tips on how to make your ex fall in love with you again. So let me first preface this video with you can't make anyone fall in love with you, and you really can't make someone fall in love. The ingredients for falling in love, two of the very important ingredients is first, physical chemistry. So you must have chemistry already. You must have sexual attraction with your ex or anybody, and also a connection. So you have to be able to look at your ex and still feel a bit of sexual attraction, a bit of spark, because that spark can't be manually generated, let's just say, can't be manufactured. It has to already be there from the beginning. And if it's not there from the beginning, you can't really make that happen then. Same with a connection. If you're inherently who you are, inherently who your ex is, don't really like each other. If you don't like each other, then you probably are not going to you're not going to really fall in love and stay in love, because your personalities just aren't compatible. And that's different from if your ex is angry at you. If they're just angry at you and that's the reason why they're not talking to you or upset with you, then that just means there's something that you did that made them upset. Doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a connection. So that's important distinction there. How you know if you have a connection with your ex is if you can be stuck in a room with nothing to do for a week with your ex and still be able to be entertained and have conversations and things to do and feel like you're not bored with your ex. That probably means you have a connection, a very strong connection. So that's a good way to test. Anyway, with that said, let's get into my 11 tips to make your ex fall back in love with you. Tip number 1, women prefer to be romanced and men need to bond through common activities. So this depends on your ex. Maybe your ex doesn't like to be romanced, but in general, women need to be romanced and men bond through common activities. So if your ex is a woman, make sure that you're surprising her with flowers, gifts, sweet little notes, love notes. They're great to make her feel special. And most women like to feel special. If your ex is a man, then try to set up activities where you can do things together, be physically active together, whether that's camping, hiking, fishing, whatever activities that your ex likes and you like, you both share that. Try to set those up, because that's how men bond. They don't necessarily bond through sitting around talking all day long. So that's pretty important. Tip number 2, intensify sexual tension. So when you're with your ex, be mindful of the sexual dynamic between the two of you and the tension that's happening or not happening when you're talking to your ex. It's important that you still try to flirt, tease them, playfully slap their arm, touch them on the shoulder or something. You want to keep that sexual tension alive in your relationships, just so they're aware that there's still that chemistry, and that's power there. That tension gives you a bit of power. A great way to escalate that tension is through a dinner date, especially if your ex is a woman. If you're flirting with her in the beginning, you're really testing to see, is she reciprocating? Is she enjoying it? Is she flirting back? Does she want you to continue? Women give signs to a guy if she's feeling good, she likes him. So if she's giving you positive sign, that means she wants you to keep escalating, keep going. So don't stop. Only stop, of course, if she doesn't reciprocate, is cold, is turned off, it starts to get negative, that's when you stop. But in general, if things are flowing, things are going well, keep escalating, because women if they like that feeling, they want to keep that going. So make sure you keep escalating. Tip number 3, make her feel like a princess and make him feel like a king. Chivalry is not dead, at least for still a large majority of women. So make sure if you know your girl and she does like a bit of feeling like she's a little bit of a princess, then open doors for her, walk between her and the curb. If there's a group of loud men, make sure you're walking between her and the guys, so you're kind of protective a little bit, because women do like to feel like their man is protective of her. So that's important to bring out that softer side of her, that feminine side that makes her feel good because she is being protected. If your ex is a guy, then you want to I guess buff up his ego a bit, praise him, make him feel good, show interest in what he's interested in. Don't put him down, don't be too negative, don't nag too much, especially when you're trying to make your ex interested in you again. Avoid negative interactions. It should all be positive, should all be fairly easy conversations and easy interactions, and nothing that's going to cause issues. Tip number 4, don't overthink things. For people who are more goal-oriented or very analytical or career-minded, this may be a bit of a struggle for you, because in the workplace, everything else, it is goal-oriented, right? It is outcome dependent. When you're trying to achieve a goal or finish a project or meet deadlines, you are thinking about the end result. You have to, right? Because your performance is tied to that. And a lot of times people who are goal-oriented, they feel like their accomplishments are tied to their value as a person. So it's important that you don't take that trait into relationships, because relationships don't work that way, because people don't want to feel like they're just a pawn in your game or in your project, right? They want to feel like a human being, someone that you can appreciate and see for their unique traits and talents and personalities. So it's important when you're interacting with your ex or any kind of relationship, you are focused on the present. It's about how you feel, how you make them feel, focusing on your interactions, whether you just have a good interaction, you can make them laugh, those kind of things, instead of over-analyzing and thinking about where is this going or where is this not going. Those things will not do you any good. They're only going to create problems for you and your relationship. So just focus on the single interaction on the moment, and you'll have a lot easier time. Tip number 5, show your value and don't forget to stand up for your value. So what I mean by your value, it's about being confident in the things that make you you, or the things that you like about yourself. So a lot of times when we get into a rut, we don't spend the time to focus on or think about the things that we like about ourselves, the things that make us unique and special. I think in our society, it's a lot about what we do and how much we praise or how much we have, and that's how we feel good. But that's kind of like the lazy way out. Most people want to be recognized for something unique about them, okay? Some trait about theirs that they feel like is uniquely theirs, or that they feel like they're better at than other people. But instead of waiting for someone else to recognize that, you need to recognize that for yourself. So you really need to, spend the time to think about, okay, these are the things I like about me, and that's what I'm going to show, that's what I'm going to bring out and focus on. So when you are focusing on that, you can then, it's a lot easier to sell your ex on you when you are sold on yourself first. Tip number 6, be okay with being alone. So if you are showing your ex, okay, this is me, this is all my values, this is my great qualities, these are the things I like about me, take it or leave it kind of thing, then you have leverage. If your ex doesn't show you interest back, if they don't want to be with you, if they don't appreciate you the way you know you should be appreciated, then you can walk, okay? You're not tied to gaining that approval, gaining your ex. And that's important because that gives you leverage. That gives you a lot of power. Anytime you go into a deal, whether it's like a business interaction or business deal or a relationship, life deal, whatever, not absolutely needing to make that deal gives you power, gives you the ability to be like, okay, if it doesn't suit me, I'm okay with walking away at any point. And sometimes when that other person senses that you could walk at any point, then they're willing to be more compromising. They're willing to adjust if they really want what you have. And that's why I said you need to be sold on yourself first. If you're sold on yourself, then they're going to be sold on you, but you need to do that first. But if they can see you've got something good about you, then they're going to oftentimes compromise to keep you. And that means you don't have to compromise your own values for that person. Tip number 7, always strive to be better. You know, we all want to be around people who are always trying to improve, always want to be better people, always want to learn from their mistakes. There's something very inspiring about being around those type of people. And I think that's because we all get that we all have issues, we all have problems, we all have flaws. And if we see someone who's actively working on it, working on improvement, then they feel like it's almost like we want to go along with that person's journeys, because we want to see where that person ends up a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. You know, as human beings, we're naturally very curious about people and want to see where they end up, but we also like to be inspired by those type of people as well. So if you're constantly striving to be better, then that means, you know, you are not just stuck on thinking a certain way. You're willing to be malleable, you're willing to be compromising and adapt to your situation, which is a very attractive trait. Tip number 8 is to be more patient. You know, I believe the universe does want to give you all the things that you want, as long as you're willing to be patient and hardworking to get those things. So if you just want things to be instant, you want to just get it next week, next month, then you're probably less likely to get them, because like the universe wants to know, well, how serious are you about getting this thing that you really want? It's like the universe testing you to see how serious you are, how much you really want it. And then if the universe sees that you really want something and you're willing to be patient and hardworking to get it, then it's going to step out of your way and then just give you the thing that you really want. But you need to go through that trial first, especially in today's world, where in the world of social media, where everything is so instant fixes. That's research has shown that's actually starting to turn into a negative. You know, a lot of young people are becoming depressed over this instant gratification, because we're finding that we don't get as much joy out of getting things. We get more joy and happiness from achieving things that are hard to get, that takes us a bit more time, that makes us actually work for it. So that's why being more patient in the long run will make you feel more happy about yourself and more content in the end. Tip number 9, if your ex has blocked you, if they're not talking to you, if they're doing no contact on you, you should use this opportunity to love yourself more. So like I've said in previous tips, you should really be sold on yourself first. And as we know, when you're going through a breakup, you're already very vulnerable. You know, you're usually feeling crap about yourself. So instead of just wallowing in your misery and missing your ex and feeling like you're a loser, you're rejected, you should really be feeding yourself, feeding your soul with lots of goodness, and reminding yourself all your great qualities, that you're still a good person, attractive person, a person who deserves a great partner, great love in your life. That's what's going to make you confident and feel good. So you're actively working on that instead of just waiting for your ex to come back. Tip number 10, if you want your ex to be interested in you, show interest in them first. There's a great book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in that book, it says, if you want people to like you, if you want to make friends, one of the first things you should do is show interest in them. You know, spend a couple of minutes to talk about the things that other person is interested in or wants to talk about, because giving in that way makes that person feel good, make that person feel special. And then once they feel good, they'll want to reciprocate reciprocate. They'll want to give that back to you. So it's the same with your ex. Don't always just think about, okay, what am I going to do next? What I'm going to say next? How do I appear? How am I going to impress them? How about think about your ex and, you know, what they care about, what they're interested in, and giving them a couple of minutes where it's just all on them. You know, you're just doing things to help them. You're not thinking about yourself at all, and when you do that, they'll naturally want to give back to you in the same way. And the last tip number 11, do more of what works. This is the easiest tip of all, really, is looking at your ex as an individual, as a unique person with their own traits and interests and likes. It's like seeing your ex as a unique blueprint, and you want to do things that will cater to your ex rather than just in general. This video, of course, is very general because I don't know your ex or your particular person that you're trying to win. So you really need to take the advice and really think about, okay, my ex likes this, they don't like that, okay, I'm going to do this. Plan things that you know they will like and do more of that. Because obviously, when you do things that works, you're going to get it working faster instead of still bumbling around doing some things that work, some things that don't, and then your progress will be a lot slower. So that's my biggest tip, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with a video soon. Bye.